On yesterday's show, we gave everybody a chance to revisit their picks. After all, the transfer window just shut about a month into the season, so it seems fair. Jules, let's start with you. You took Manchester City. You dropped them from number 1 to number 2. What's up? No faith in Pep?
I just thought they'll have a better recruitment. I also thought that Liverpool would not be able to have another very good season like they had in the last 2 years. And I think with Thiago Alcantara, with Diogo Jota, who at the time hadn't signed for Liverpool when we did the first prediction. And at the time I also expected City to sign Kalidou Koulibaly or maybe even Jules Koundé. I like Ruben Dias, I just don't think he's at the level of those two. That's why I've changed and Liverpool overtook again Manchester City.
Don, you agree with Jules, but one of the other changes that you made is you moved Spurs into your top 4, you moved United out. All right, the season just started. Are you not being a little bit prisoner of the moment right now?
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, what we're 3 or 4 games in, and we're asked to judge who we think is going to finish in the top 4. We could all be made look like fools at the end of the season, but we've got to do it on what we see and what we feel. And I feel as though with the signings in the window that Spurs had, bringing Reguilon in, I think he's a brilliant left back. You know, at the top end of the pitch, I mean, who wouldn't want Harry Kane, Son, and Gareth Bale? I mean, that might be one of the best front threes in Europe. I mean, it's certainly in the conversation in the Premier League. And the midfield's been, sort of, I think Højbjerg is a solid signing. So they've tinkered and they've had a brilliant window. So I look at Man United and I still think they've got enough if they really get together and close ranks. But I just don't see it in their performances, Seb. I think they're too inconsistent. The players like Martial and like Pogba, like Rashford, unbelievable players, but you're not quite sure if they can put it together every single week. So that's why I've got Spurs in, and my top 3 is the same. And for the reasons that Jules said before about Man City's transfer window and Liverpool bringing in Thiago and Jota, I think they go to number 1.
Mark, you made some changes as well, swapping City and Liverpool, but also United and Spurs. From your perspective, is that more about United being bad, what they didn't do, or is it about the improvements that Spurs have made and what you've seen from them on the field?
Well, it's a bit of both. It's mainly United's inconsistency and just how bad they look. They look so bad at the back that I can't see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's coaches changing that. Certainly with the personnel they have. Tellers has come in. I think he'll add more going forward than Luke Shaw does. But what's he going to be like defensively? And I think United at the right back with Wan-Bissaka, decent defensively, but not very good going forward. So I think United's defence will cause them problems all season unless they make a change of manager and the new coach, whoever that might be, comes in and actually coaches the defence. Because the one thing that I thought last week watching the 6-1 against Tottenham was that they looked like a team that hasn't been coached properly. They looked completely disorganised without a clue what to do. You can never say that about a Jose Mourinho team. Maybe they're overcoached, but defensively Tottenham will be solid this season. Mourinho will make them solid. They've got great goals going forward with Kane, with Son. They brought Gareth Bale in, as Don was saying. So I think Tottenham, for me, are a much more convincing package at the back and going forward. I think United going forward are very impressive, but they just make too many mistakes at the back. And we haven't even discussed the goalkeeper yet. And David De Gea's got away with it a little bit because the defence has been so bad, but De Gea was letting 11 goals in 3 games. So maybe sooner rather than later, Dean Henderson may come in and change things. But as it stands, I just think you can't back United to finish top 4 with that back 4.
Jules, you're the one person that didn't go heavy on Spurs now that everything's going well for them. Why?
I just think it's going to be really tight for that 4th place. Whether United can come back and be stronger for the rest of the season, especially with the new signing. And Spurs, and I think Spurs and Arsenal will be very, very close this season. It might be Spurs that finish 4th. It might be Arsenal. I think Arsenal have something growing there with Arteta, with Thomas Partey, with Gabriel, with some of the signings that they made. I think collectively they're improving massively. I think they could be there. They could finish 4th and in the top 4. Like I was saying, I think Spurs will be quite close too. I think it'll be a very interesting race for that last spot in the top 4. Maybe even 3rd and 4th, depending on how Chelsea are evolving and if Frank can find the right formula with all those new signings behind the top 2. So I've put Arsenal, but I do think it's going to be quite close, especially with Spurs.
Don, just a quick note on something that Mark mentioned. We're talking about Jose Mourinho as the reason that Spurs is going to get into the top 4. Before the season, Jose Mourinho was one of the reasons that a lot of people were picking Spurs not to get into the top 4. Is this Stardust back? Is that magic back?
No, I don't think it's back. I just think he's bought good players. He's had a good window. He's spent a lot of money, even though the Bale's a loan one. But I think when you look at their individual players, I see Harry Kane now playing at a level where he was probably 18 months ago. He looks fit, he looks sharp. You know, he's had so many assists. It might be a season where Harry Kane doesn't get the numbers, but he's coming short. And Son got 4 goals of the week, and he looks really lively. And for the reasons I said before, I think as Mark said as well, when you try to analyse, you know, what United and what Spurs have done, I think Spurs look a lot more defensively solid than Man United. And at the top end of the pitch, we've not even seen Gareth Bale yet. So we've not even mentioned, you know, Steven Bergwijn and Lucas Moura and Eric Lamela. There's so many players that Jose can call on, where United are really, really good with their 11. After that, I'm not sure.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPNFC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.